What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B. Welcome to Steelers Almighty Man. Cam Hayward doesn't practice today. Lord have mercy, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it could be a lot of different things. My man Robert in the chat is already in here saying it could have been just a vet day. And that very well could be. The Steelers came out and said that it was a vet day. So it very well could have been just a vet day. The thing about that is vet days usually happen on a Wednesday, a Monday or a Wednesday, not Thursday before week one. That's not usually when these things happen. And look, I try not to spread the rumor mill, but Cam said it. He's like, hey, I missing games is a real possibility. If he hadn't have said that, maybe people wouldn't think about it. But he said it. So my question to you, or question with this whole scenario is, hey, Felicia, how you doing? Are you planning on sitting out? Now, I gave you my stance the other day, and I'm not backing off of it. If Cam Hayward misses a game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, then just move on. Again, he would be one of the dumbest people on the face of the earth because he's never going to make the money back. He's going to miss a game check. Steelers will just move on, and that's the way it is. If he doesn't want to play, fine, then you don't want to play. That's my only thing, man. I thought he was just, first of all, I think his agents, if they're giving him this advice, which they probably are, they borderline on the stupidity of the Le'Veon Bell agent. Y'all remember that guy, that idiot that had Le'Veon Bell sit out an entire season. It borders on that stupidity level. That's number one. And I don't know. I don't know. Again, it could all be just a vet day. It could all just be that. But again, vet days usually happen on a Monday. Vet days happen on a Wednesday. Vet days don't happen after you practice Monday and Wednesday, and then all of a sudden you have a vet day on Thursday. Now, maybe it's something different. Who knows? But I personally think that Cam's playing hardball. He's got an attitude. He's still out here venting. And I think that's what it is. Felicia's got a good point. I hope Cam's podcast is enough to pay the bills. Well, first of all, Cam's made over $100 million. He's got enough to pay the bills. But my whole thing is, if I'm the Steelers, again, if this was more than just a normal vet day, then he's trying to prove a point, I don't give him anything. I was on board with possibly giving Cam $4 to $6 million. I think it sets a horrible precedent if you do that. But okay, if the Steelers decide to do that and tell them you're done, this is your last year, you're not coming back to the Steelers, we want to give you this money, even though you made a terrible deal, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But if not, then no. I'm okay if they say no, we're not giving you anything. So, and I don't know. I just think it's stupid. I just think it's stupidity. If this is what Cam is doing, I think it's stupidity. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Is he going to play? Says Andre Green. Like I said, if he doesn't, we need Derek Harmon to get healthy as soon as humanly possible. Because and look, Cam, you don't want to play for the Steelers. This is your contract. We're going to move on and see if somebody else is willing to give you that extra money, because we're not willing to give it to you. And you're going to sit out. Okay, we see where it is. Good for you. But again, all this, it could all be the rumor mill, ladies and gentlemen. It could all just be literally just a vet day. It could be that. And the Steelers came out quickly and backtracked and said that it was. So hopefully it is. But And yeah, if it's not, and this is his ploy to sit out to try to force the Steelers' hand, I don't think the Steelers are going to get their hand forced. Not like this. Not like this. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, people. This is an interesting deal. I didn't even plan on talking about it or doing anything today, to be honest with you. It was a day of rest. But I felt like, you know what, we need to talk about this a little bit because it can be a big deal. It can absolutely be a big deal. And I'd just move on. If this is what it is, and I don't want to get into because self-made, you're right. This is not his character. I don't want to get into whether talking about character or whatever, because first of all, I don't know the man. So I'm not going to speak on somebody's character when I don't know the man. And he's not out here committing crimes. What he's doing is he made a bad deal. That's what this comes down to. I've said it a million times already. He made a bad deal and he's pissed. And he's looking for the Pittsburgh Steelers to bail him out on the bad business deal that he made. And whether he got that advice from his agent or whoever he got the advice from or whatever, he made a bad business deal. And now he's looking for a way out. And he expects the Steelers to bail him out. And I mean, if you make a bad business deal with your bank, even Cam, if Cam goes to his bank and whatever business deal that he makes and it turns out bad, is the bank going to say, hey, that's all right, Cam. I know you potentially, you could have made an extra $6 to $8 million. We're going to go ahead and give that to you, even though you didn't make it. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and get it. So I'm past it. I'm past it. Like I said, if this is his agent and his agent is telling him all of this, his agent is one of the stupider men in all the free. And I don't even know who his agent is, but they borderline on the Le'Veon Bell agent stupidity. And I think we all remember how stupid he sat out an entire football season, gave up $13 million that he never made back, and then signed for less money than what the Steelers were offering him. And then his career was in the toilet. Now, granted, Cam's career is not going to be in the toilet. It's just going to be over because, he's 36. But Lord have mercy. It's time to play football, man. And if you don't want to, and this is the stance that you're going to have because you made a bad business deal, well then, you know what? I'm going to be like a lot of people are and just say, screw Cam. Because, again, I could see it if the Steelers screwed him over. If the Steelers screwed Cam Hayward over and, they didn't give him that contract last year and he had an all-pro year and the Steelers are like, nope, we're not going to give you more. Okay, I could be on Cam's. I just can't be on his side on this one. I just can't be on his side. And it's just as simple as that. So I just can't. I can't be on his side. So Torsha said at least Bell was tagged twice before doing what he did. I mean, that's true. But the only reason, I get what you're saying, Torsha, but the whole reason that Bell sat out, he was saying he was being overworked for what he was making. $13 million? Okay. You didn't want that $13 million. So then you signed for a guaranteed $30 million. I think it was like $33 million. But you didn't, take out the 13 that you lost from not playing. You still could have went and got that deal because you did go get that deal. Yeah, that was stupidity. So, Super Hayward going to sit out too? We can only hope. We can only hope. Yeah, I'm just, my thing is, I'm past it, people. I'm past it. Y'all know me. I am so pro player, it's not even funny. It's not even funny how pro player that I am. But it's got to make sense. And this no longer makes sense. It no longer makes sense. And he's again, I thought it was just all venting. I thought it was just all venting. But here's the one thing I want to keep in mind, because Steeler Lee brings up a good point here. He said, I'm sorry, he's no longer a captain in my eyes. Even if he plays, this is way out of character. Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. It could literally be a vet day, and he could practice tomorrow and play in the game on Sunday. So before we jump off the bridge, I'm just giving you my thoughts if it's not a vet day. I want to get those thoughts out there and make them very clear where I stand if this is his ploy to get more money. So before we jump to any conclusions, before we start screaming that he's not a captain or he's dropped a peg in our eyes, before we do that, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait. Because Torsha, again, great point. What if he has 2 sacks on Sunday? Everybody going to switch quick. Exactly. All I'm saying is, look, Cam can be pissed off, and as long as he shows up on Sunday, I'd literally, and plays well, I don't care. He can be mad. He can be cuss out the Steelers all week, even if he don't practice all week long. Okay, because he's protested. If he shows up on Sunday and he plays well, that's the only thing I care about. That's the only thing I care about. So that's my whole point. Steeler Lee, I'm with you. There you go. I like how you clarify it, because I'm the same way. Let me clear. If it's not a vet day, if it's not a vet day, then I'm like, well, you better show up on Sunday. You better show up on Sunday. So that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing. And the thing about vet days, I mean, the Steelers give them out. I mean, he had, I don't know. They took care of him in camp. Mike Tomlin said it the other day, though, people. He said, my job with Cam is to get him in Latrobe and out of Latrobe healthy. And he did that. Okay, now it's time to practice and get ready for week 1. There shouldn't be a vet day needed. That's the whole thing. I'm not saying he didn't get one. All I'm saying is he didn't do anything in camp. It's week 1 of the regular season and you already need a vet day? I don't know. So Michelle says, if Cam does not play, I believe it will be his last year in Pittsburgh. Well, first off, I kind of think this is his last year in Pittsburgh anyway. But if he don't play, he may never play another snap in Pittsburgh. Now, that would be being bitter. That would be the Steelers being bitter. But if they got rid of him, because it does make the team worse. I mean, let's be clear. If Cam Hayward's not on the Steelers, we're a worse football team. I want to make sure we're abundantly clear about that. If Cam Hayward is not a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers this season, we are not a better football team for that. So let's not kid ourselves. So True Grizzlies fan says, Faison Love is a Steelers fan, and your mother's also a fan of mine too. So there you go, True Grizzlies. Call her. Ask her. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to take over Torsha in New York. Jets fans are a little crazy. I don't know if we can take over. Trestop says, why can't we just pay him? What's wrong with paying our Pro Bowler the going rate? Because he made a deal last year. That's what's wrong. That's why. Nothing more, nothing less. He made a deal last year, and if you pay him, Trez, then you have to start paying everybody that signs a deal 1 year, outplays it, and then you have to start paying everybody that. That's not how it works. That's not the precedence you can set. So that's the whole thing is. So that's it. That's the whole thing. Nah, your mother likes obese people, Trez Grizzlies. And your dad's sitting in the chair watching. You know that. Stop it. Stop it. Your dad's just sitting in there in the chair watching. Call him Mr. Cuck. So, but that's right, self-made. The floodgates would open. You can't pay somebody the year after they make a deal. You can't pay somebody. So you can't do that. Can't do that. And that's the difference. Cam knew that. Cam didn't have to, but he chose to. He chose to. I do have a lady, Mr. True Grizzly. I told you it was your mama. Go call her. Go call her. And tell her to untie your dad from that cuck chair. Yeah, Dwayne, that's a good point. They got to pay the kicker first. And if I'm the Steelers, I do pay the kicker first. I do go pay the kicker first. So, am I rooting for George Pickens tonight? Why would I root for George Pickens? No. No. I would not be rooting for George Pickens. So, Mike, I do have Pickens on over 50 yards, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, the Cowboys are going to throw the football. They're going to put up some numbers because they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So I'm actually one of the people that think Pickens is going to have over 1,000 yards receiving this year. I think so. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it with Cam, man. I think Cam is, if this is not a vet day, Cam is being stupid. Let's just call it what it is. If this is not a vet day, Cam is being stupid. We can all say that. We can all say that. So, and that's the problem. You had your chance. You called the Steelers out. You want to get paid. Well, you can't get paid. You had your chance last year to get paid. And what you chose was to get the guaranteed money that you got. That's what you chose. You could have easily been a free agent, but you didn't want to do that. You wanted the security. The Steelers gave you that security. But because you outplayed it, now you want more? No. So, no, you had your chance. You had your chance. And to be quite frankly, I know I've said this a couple times. Hell, I said it earlier. I'd be pissed off if the Steelers actually did give him another $4 to $6 million. Now that I sit here and I think about it, because again, if TJ Watt goes out this year and sets the sack record, what's to say TJ Watt doesn't say, you know what? Micah Parsons got $47 million. I want 49. I want 50. I want you to redo my contract right now, and I want 50 million. Then do we have to do that? Do we have to pay him too? So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So someone thought Bodds has a handshake to be the highest paid kicker. Y'all know the Steelers. The Steelers will sign somebody. I mean, they just did it with Warren. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear in the next 2 days that Bodds is the highest paid kicker in football. I would not be surprised. So, and that's the whole thing. Ooh, Trez Top says if he sets the sack record, trade him for a King's rent. Now that wouldn't be horrible. That wouldn't be horrible. It'd make a lot of people mad, but TJ Watt sets the sack record and you could trade him and get 2 firsts, a second, a third, and a fifth. Goodbye. Goodbye, TJ Watt. But that's what all I'm saying, man. He comes out and sets the sack record and he says, I want $50 million. Then what? So no, you can't pay You can't pay Cam Hayward, man. He had his chance. He had his chance. And it's not the same as Bosworth. Before people say, well, it's not the same. It's not the same. Boz didn't sign his deal last year. Because I can tell you this, if Boz would have signed his deal last year and then went out and had an all-pro season, the only thing the Pittsburgh Steelers would tell him is, we paid you to have an all-pro season, and you did. There it is. We didn't pay you to be average. We paid you to be an all-pro, and we paid you last year. Cam could have easily said the same thing. So, and said, hey, you paid me to be an all-pro that 1 year. Now I'm a free agent. I need more money. And the Steelers would have had to have made a decision. So, then that's the difference. I don't know if Micah tried to do that in Dallas. Micah didn't do that in Dallas. His contract was up. So it's not the same thing, William. Like Micah Parsons was playing on his 5th-year deal. And all he wanted, if that's what you're talking about, all he wanted was a contract extension. So, and turns out that Jerry Jones just wouldn't talk to his agent about the contract extension, tried to talk to Micah about it. And I'm like, that whole thing was nuts. I'm like, you think that you could just make a deal with the player? He pays representation. And because he wanted you to make the deal with his agent, even if you all had a handshake deal, he still wants you to talk to his agent and you won't do that? Come on, man. That's crazy. Mike, but you're not the only one, though. Talking about not paying Cam last year. The difference is that last year, Cam was coming off an injury, if you guys can remember. He's a 35-year-old defensive tackle. He had no guaranteed money left on his contract. And what the Pittsburgh Steelers did was they extended him out for 2 years. Well, yeah, for 2 years. They guaranteed his contract for last year. And then they made this year incentive clauses. Because if you remember, Cam's already made, I think it's $13.5 million because he was on the roster March 1st. He got that as a roster bonus. So he's already made that money. But what Cam didn't bet on was himself. Didn't bet on that. Having an all-pro year. And what he should have done is said, hey, if I end up being a first or second team all-pro, that roster bonus is great, but I need an additional $8 million on top of that. He didn't do that. And he's probably mad because maybe his agent didn't put that into the contract, because he easily could have put that incentive package into his contract. Easily could have done it. Said, hey, if I'm a first or second team all-pro, on top of the $13.5 million roster bonus, I get an additional $8 million as part of my salary. But nope, didn't do it. Didn't do it. So it's crazy. But that's the difference. And all I'm saying, people, and we're going to get off because it's time to watch some football. We got a real NFL football game coming on tonight. The only thing that I'm going to say is I hope that it was just a vet day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that it was just a vet day. Now, you usually don't get those the first week of the season. You usually don't get those on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, excuse me. But I hope that that's what it is. Jose Rodriguez is done with Cam. He says, bro, if Cam doesn't want to play because he wants more money, bro, kick rocks. We have players that would like to start. Now, here's the thing. I get it, but the Steelers aren't better if Cam isn't on the team. I get what you're saying. But the Steelers aren't better. So the Steelers are not better. So L says, were you Diddy's stunt double? No, I was your mother's stunt double, L. Didn't she tell you? You need to text her and ask her. Text her and ask her. Yeah, but you know I was. She probably did tell you. Dallas on the points tonight, but not for much. What is the line tonight for Dallas and Philly? What is the line? Yeah, KTB, it was his mama. It was his mama. He knows. He knows. He knows. He knows. His mama likes his head. She rubs on this peanut head. She knows. She knows. So people can't deal when their mama loves a big black dude. They don't like it. They don't like it very much. But hey, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So no, I'm not. I'm just telling it like it is, people. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just telling it like it is. So 8.5. Ooh, 8.5. That's high. Here's the thing with that. I think Philly actually can beat them by double digits, but because Dallas is going to throw the ball so much, they'll get us a touchdown with like 40 seconds left and cut the margin to 7. You know what I'm saying? 8.5 is high in the NFL, people. It's high. So, yeah, look, the 8.5, Big B might have to dip into his bag on that one. Then he might have to dip into his bag on that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Philly is up double digits late, and then Dallas gets a touchdown with 40 seconds to go, man. That's what it is. That's what it is. So I might have to. So, but that's what I got for y'all tonight, man. I just wanted to talk and touch base with you real quick and let you know, hopefully it's a vet day for Cam, people. I hope it is. I hope it is. So, but if it ain't, yeah, we got some conversations. We got it. Torsha, look at Torsha trying to lose people money. Said a missed 2-point conversion. Ooh, wee. Y'all know those bad beats. So, no, true, Grizzly, we didn't block you. We like all the interaction, man. We didn't block you. So, we wouldn't block you. We don't need to do that. And your mother wouldn't want me to block you either. So, there's no reason for me to block you. Yeah, we wouldn't block you, brother. You know. And then your pops, I mean, hopefully she don't block him. I just want her to untie him out of that damn cuck chair. He don't need to be seeing this. He don't need to see this destruction. He don't need to see that. You know, I feel for the man. So it's all good, people. It's all good, man. I'll probably be on here tomorrow because it's game day Friday. Scouting reporters tomorrow. Make sure you all check it out, man. It's gonna be fun. We ended up getting Matt O'Leary from the Jets to come on. He covers the Jets from Just Jets. He does a great job. He's been doing podcasts for them for a long time. He's professional like we are. Got a real professional setup. Got a ton of followers. So make sure you all go check that out. Until tomorrow, people, I will talk to you later. Have fun tonight. It's football night. Let's have some fun. I appreciate y'all, man. And aloha.